Okay, welcome back, everyone. Now we're moving on to a very big topic in the monologue writing process, which is the idea of telling a story. Remember what I said earlier. All monologues are about the projection of character and story. And what we're going to look at is how do we start to tell that story, build it towards that climax, and bring our story to a satisfying closure, even in the context of a very short monologue. All right, so key considerations. Ask yourself these three questions as you begin the writing process. Is there tension in the telling? Meaning, are the characters reluctant to tell their story for some reason? What could that reason be? What is actually holding them back? Is it possible to utilize that to make the story more compelling? In what way does it affect their ability to be direct in their storytelling? Are the characters quite indirect? If it's direct, what does the storytelling look like? If it's indirect, what does it look like? Both strategies are possible. It really depends on how you understand the character and their situation. Finally, how do the characters arrive at their destination? In other words, the end point in their storytelling, regardless of their reluctance, regardless of the tensions holding them back to a certain degree. Second question, is there urgency in the telling? Is the character desperate to tell their story? And how do we know that? How does their sense of urgency shape their storytelling voice, for example? Are there times where they speak too fast, stumble over their words, maybe? Do they become frustrated or even become angry? They cannot convey what they want quickly enough. These are some very basic ways to convey urgency. You could speak slower and still convey urgency, but this is the most obvious way to do so. Okay? So how do we make sure the audience understands that what the character is telling us is urgent and most important to the character and who they are? The last question is quite possibly the most important question. Are they persuasive in the telling? So ask yourself, how does the character try to persuade others to agree with them or think or feel like or with them? Okay? How do their words try to foster common understanding between the characters and the audience? A lot of characters monologue in order to build a sense of community, to build a sense of connection or understanding, because they want other characters to know, other characters to understand, other characters to ultimately empathize with them. How are your character's words inviting the audience or another character in the drama or characters in the drama to understand their situation and empathize with their plight? All right. Now, how do we put these ideas together? Well, I put together kind of an adaptation of the 6-box poem template and made it into a 6-box monologue task. Okay. So what you're supposed to do here with this 6-box task is basically fill in each box. Okay. So it's kind of like a brainstorming process. It allows you to consider all the possible ways in which a monologue can be developed, either internally or externally. Okay. First things first, ask yourself this key question. What is the theme or big idea or key message that you want to advance in your monologue as a writer? So as a writer, what is it that you want to talk about here? What exactly are you getting your character to do? Okay. Your character is like the messenger for your big ideas, right? So what is your big idea? What do you want to say about love? What do you want to say about life, etc., etc.? Put it here. Okay. Now, the second thing to consider is the motivation, or objective of your character. Remember what I talked about earlier? All characters are guided by a central desire, a central objective that guides all their actions from beginning to end in a drama. Okay? So what is it that drives your character to speak? What is it that drives your character to communicate with others? Okay? So write this down here, okay? The second box, think about images and ideas that the characters might use, given who they are and given the story they want to tell, okay? So how is your character going to help other characters or an audience visualize their story? How are your character's words going to make difficult ideas, maybe abstract ideas, concrete for your audience, okay? So put your ideas in regards images and ideas in this box. Third box, sights and sounds. So sights and sounds are quite important because it allows you, when you incorporate such things, to kind of place the audience or place other characters for that matter into the eyes or the situation of the character, right? It allows them to experience to some degree what the character has experienced or is experiencing. So conjuring sights and sounds creates immediacy to the experiences of characters, makes it a sensory experience, makes it more vivid for both the character telling the story and for whoever listens. Think about the questions the characters would ask themselves or others, okay? At least come up with about 5 questions here, because that can tell you about who the character is and what they desire, right? Maybe it's easier to think of the direction of your monologue through questions rather than statements, which is what the motivation or objective is, okay? You can even think about incorporating these questions as rhetorical questions in your monologue proper. Think about thoughts and feelings that the character has as they start to tell their story. Earlier, I asked you to describe the thoughts and characters that are typical thoughts and feelings, that are typical of your character. Now, think about prioritizing those thoughts and feelings that are essential for telling your story via monologue, okay? Or telling the character story via monologue. Last box, key or repeated words and phrases. Think about the words and phrases that the character uses, right? Which kind of are indicative of who the character is in personality or in speech, right? Okay, so think about words and phrases that tell us about what the character is concerned with. Think about words and phrases that indicate the character's personality. Think about words and phrases that kind of give a clear picture of how they speak, okay? So once you fill in the template and the template is uploaded for you in Google Classroom, so you can download it and start filling it in because it's a Word document, think about all the options you have for fully imagining your character and your story. You don't need to incorporate everything that you put down in this 6-box monologue template, okay? It's just a way of arranging all the different dimensions of character in front of you so that you know what your options are. After all, it's a short monologue. You can't incorporate everything, right? If you're designing a 1 or 2 minute performance. But knowing what options you have, what you can possibly incorporate to give quality and character to your monologue, the better, okay? So try to fill in this and see where you get to, okay? What you can do after you fill it in is post it for other participants to see and comment on, or if you like, just extract parts of it and that you are happy with and maybe get the audience, the other participants to comment on those aspects, okay? The whole point is to share your ideas, okay? And so that you can improve on it, okay? Art, especially dramatic arts, is collaborative. The more you invite others to share in your art, the more you can improve in your dramatic practice. So, share your ideas, put them in the comment section, and the other participants can hopefully give you some advice. Thank you.